Be ready to listen, grow, and absorb knowledge so we can all shine even more. Welcome back, Mr. TK Akua.
Good morning, Pride Academy. Oh, I can't hear you guys. Good morning, Pride Academy. Man, I see you guys are ready. You have pen, you have paper, you're ready to take some notes. So we're going to get right into it because we don't want to waste any time. The topic today is College Quest, choosing your educational future. But before we get into that, we have to review a few things so that we can pick up where we left off from the last time that I was here. I told you that I do a series of presentations relative to African origins so we can reconnect to our roots and so that we can extend that ancient excellence and achievement into modern excellence and achievement. Ashe? Ashe. So we have African origins of writing and mathematics. We have African sacred science. We have African origins of our faith, magnificent black women in history. We also have wonders of West Africa and majesty of the Moors. All of these different things showing you a timeline of ancient African excellence leading up to today. Now, brothers and sisters, you know that whenever we gather together, we always want to begin by giving honor to the Most High, who is known by many names and worshipped in many ways. Certainly the one source and the one force through which we all live, move, and have our being. Ashe? Ashe. We also give honor to our ancestors because there's an African proverb which says, if we stand tall, it is because we stand on the shoulders of our ancestors. Or as Dr. Jacob Carruthers has said, indeed our stride is wide because we're walking in the footsteps of giants. Now, one of the giants in whose footsteps we are endeavoring to walk right now, who recently made her transition, is, of course, Dr. Maya Angelou. Ashe? And so we know that when the physical body dies, the spirit lives on forever. So we welcome her presence to continue to inspire us in all that we do. Now, just as I asked you the last time I was here, I'm going to ask you to view this presentation with the ujat. The ujat is the third eye, the eye of all-seeing enlightenment that allows you to see beyond the physical realm and into the mental and spiritual dimensions. And it reminds me of the great words of Mr. Bell Middleton who says, sharpen your eye and tune your ears so you know what you see and understand what you hear. So brothers and sisters, as we deal with this topic of College Quest, if y'all are ready to get started, everybody say, let's get it. Let's get it. All right, let me count down from 5. When I get to 1, I want everyone to stand straight, strong, tall, and silent. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Repeat after me, please. I'm a student seeking to be a scholar. I'm a student seeking to be a scholar. The standard is excellence today and tomorrow. The standard is excellence today and tomorrow. I am disciplined, focused, and on time. I am disciplined, focused, and on time. I am organized, respectful, and responsible. I am organized, respectful, and responsible. I am on a mission to elevate myself. I am on a mission to elevate myself. My family. My community. And humanity. Amen. All right, give yourselves a round of applause as you take a seat.
Stop pushing.
Now, before I go any further, I definitely want to give a very, very special thank you to our principal, Ms. Thomas. Please give her a round of applause. And also to Mr. and Mrs. Wilson for continuing to keep in contact with me back. Yes. Some of you all have mentioned that me and Mr. Wilson look like we might be twins. I see the resemblance, but more so than the physical resemblance, keep in mind that we're brothers of the same mind. Ashe? On the same journey. All right, so let's go ahead and get into it. Last time I was with you, I taught you through visual documentation that black people at one time led the world in scientific innovation, in literary production, and in wealth creation. When I say scientific innovation, I'm talking about the fact that we led the world in all sorts of different aspects of science and technology, from architecture and engineering to agriculture and astronomy to mathematics and medicine, all of these different areas, okay? And then literary production with reading and writing and language and literature, we taught the world. Ashe? And then we also led the world in wealth creation. We had some of the wealthiest nations all over the world. But some things have changed over the past few hundred years, And if you're not careful, you would never know the great things that your own people have done because of many of the images that we see on television and in the movies today. And I asked you some questions. I said, how did powerful and proud Africans go from this to this? Do y'all remember that? Yeah. And then do you remember I asked you another question? How did we go from this to this? So there have been some changes going on. Another question I asked you was, what does it mean to be black? Because in some places, in some communities, and even in some schools, some young people your age think that to be black means to be uneducated, means to be ignorant, to be disrespectful. But we discovered that to be black means to be excellent, means to be one who is into achievement. Ashe? Right, so with those things in mind, let's remind ourselves of who we are. Let's read this together. 1, 2, 3, read.
We are mothers and fathers, sisters and brothers, friends and neighbors who know how to help each other.
We are doctors, lawyers and engineers, ministers, pastors and spiritual seers, educators, counselors and business owners, accountants, dentists and even organ donors, craftsmen, plumbers and computer technicians, architects, builders, and also electricians. Louder. We are extraordinary people with an incredible history. Give yourselves a round of applause. All right. So with that in mind, now we're ready to get into some of the components of what will help you not only to make it to college, but to get through college and to become successful if the college route is for you. Okay? I'm going to give you a few principles, and principles are simply rules to live your life by. Ashe?
Ashe.
The first principle that I'd like for you to jot down in your notes is vision. Everybody say vision.
Vision.
And here's my definition of vision. Vision is the ability to see beyond your circumstances. One more time. Vision is the ability to see beyond your circumstances. So you may have some circumstances that you're living in right now that you may not like. Maybe you don't particularly care for some things going on in your neighborhood. Maybe you don't particularly care for some things that may even be going on in your home. Vision is the ability to see beyond your circumstances. Okay? Very important. And part of the visioning process is to imagine yourself and say, where do you see yourself 5 years from now? Where do you see yourself 10 years from now? So you have to set a goal based on the vision that you want to have for your life. So let me just see a show of hands. How many of you all do have an intention and a vision to go to college? Let me see a show of hands. Keep your hand up. Look around the room. That's good if you have that vision. Okay? Hands down. But I want to warn you about something. College is not enough. Ashe? College is not enough. There are people who have college degrees, but who are really struggling today. And what I want you to understand is that college is good, but college is not what? Enough. It's what you bring to the college experience. And it's what you bring to that college degree once you get it. So as we go a little bit further, vision is the ability to see beyond your circumstances. Everybody say valor. Valor. Valor is the courage to step out on faith and bring the vision to reality. One more time. Vision is the ability to see beyond your circumstances. Valor is the courage. Everybody say courage. Courage. Courage to step out on faith and bring that vision to reality. And the reason it takes courage is, how many of y'all know there's some haters out there? Let me just see a show of hands. Don't point no elbows, fingers, and toes or nothing now. But there are some haters out there, hands down. And there are some people who will try to clown you, who will try to make fun of you for having a larger vision for your life, because they may not be on the same path that you are. They may not see the same things for their own life that you see for your life, and they may try to hold you back or pull you down. So you've got to have that courage. Valor is the courage to step out on faith and bring the vision to reality. Now this is where the rubber meets the road, so to speak, because now you have to really be very thoughtful and careful about who you hang around. So repeat after me. Show me your friends.
Show me your friends.
And I'll show you your future.
And I'll show you your future.
One more time. Show me your friends.
Show me your friends.
And I'll show you your future.
And I'll show you your future.
So let's find out what that means. If you hang around 4 people that tend to be late to class and get in trouble in class, if you hang around them, I can almost guarantee you that you're going to be number 5. Ashe? Because show me your friends, I'll show you your future. Or let's put it another way that you may have heard it before. Birds of a feather flock together. Show me your friends, show me your future. If you hang around 4 people that are hanging out and getting in trouble with the law, that are hanging out in the street, that are out after dark, out in the streets at times when you should not be there, you hang around 4 people like that, then I guarantee you, you're going to be number 5. Ashe? The odds are stacked against you. But if you hang around 4 people that are on the honor roll, I can almost guarantee you that you'll be what? Number 5. If you hang out with 4 people who have manners and home training, who know how to say yes sir and no sir, yes ma'am and no ma'am, if you hang around 4 people like that, then you're bound to be what? Number 5. Hang out with 4 people who are on the honor roll, and you're bound to be what? Number 5. Hang out with 4 people who get a scholarship to college, you're bound to be what? Hang out with 4 people who know how to get a job and keep a job, you're bound to be what? Number 5. Hang out with 4 entrepreneurs who know how to make money on their own instead of getting a job, and who know how to make money legally. If you hang out with 4 of them, you're bound to be what? Number 5. Are you guys getting it? Yes. So, show me your friends, I'll show you your future. Birds of a feather what? Flock together. So it takes vision and it takes valor. Vision is the ability to see beyond your circumstances. Valor is the courage to step out on faith and bring the vision to reality. Now, success can be boiled down to basic mathematics. The gentleman by the name of Dr. Dale Bronner who talks about this. Success can be boiled down to 1st grade, maybe even up to about 3rd grade mathematics. There are some people who will add to your life. You hang out with some people, they will add to your life by sharing certain experiences with you, by sharing certain knowledge and certain insights. But guess what? If you choose the wrong friends or the wrong people to hang around, there are some people who will what? Subtract from your life. You find that every time you hang out with that person, for some reason, you get in trouble. Ashe? You find out whenever you sit near this person, you have a tendency to act up. You find out that every time you hang with this person or this group of people, these are the kind of people that subtract from your life. But then you meet some extraordinary people. Everybody say extraordinary. Extraordinary. Some extraordinary people that you can hang out with. They will multiply opportunities in your life. You hang out with them and you find out that you have job opportunities presented. You hang out with them, you find out that you have scholarship opportunities as a result of hanging out with them. You hang out with them and you find out that you have opportunities for summer programs and all sorts of incredible and wonderful experiences. Ashe? So there's some people that will multiply your life, but then there's some people who are really off the hook. They're really off the chain. They're really headed in the wrong direction. And we're not hating on them. We're just making the clear understanding that we're on a different path. Ashe? Because if I get with that person who's headed down the wrong path, they will divide my attention from what it should be on. My attention should be on my schoolwork. My attention should be on setting myself up for success. My attention should be on hanging with the right people. But if I hang with the wrong person, they will divide or separate me from the knowledge of the right path. Ashe? Right? So success is as simple as 1st, 2nd, and 3rd grade mathematics. Successful people are willing to do what unsuccessful people are not willing to do. One more time. Successful people are willing to do what unsuccessful people are not willing to do. And I'm going to come back to that point in just a few minutes, all right? Now, I want you to look at this picture on the screen. Take a look at that very carefully. Does that look like it's moving at all? Yes. Some people say, raise your hand if you say yes. It looks like it's moving. Okay, hands down. How many of you, to you, it doesn't look like it's moving? All right, hands down. For those of you who said it does look like it's moving, does it look like it's moving from side to side, up and down, or around? Around. Interesting. Interesting. Actually, it's not moving at all. It's what we call an optical illusion. And brothers and sisters, I want you, the reason I'm sharing this with you is because when we see images of people who look like us, who are acting violent, ignorant, uneducated, and disrespectful, I need for you to understand that the majority of our people are not like that. Ashe? It is an optical illusion that is perpetrated through television, media, and movies. Now don't get me wrong, there's a whole lot of folk who look like us who ain't got no sense. Ashe? Now raise your hand if y'all know some people like that. Okay, so let's keep it real. I do know that there's some people that we know that act like they ain't got no sense, okay? But please understand, the majority of our people do have some sense, are on the right path, are trying to do the right thing, are trying to get their education, are trying to be successful. Ashe? So don't fall for the nonsense, because this is what becomes of some of us who don't take the right path. And this statistic startled me. It blew me away. More blacks are under prison and parole control, the stat comes from 2010, than were enslaved in 1850. Think about that for a minute. There are more black people under prison and parole control in 2010, and the numbers may have gone up by 2014, than were enslaved in 1850. I want you to think about that, because you have a choice to make about which path that you're going to take. Ashe? So take a look at this, because when I was in school, I was taught that the 13th Amendment abolished slavery. Have you ever heard that before? Okay. Here's something I want you to know about the 13th Amendment. If you hear it said that the 13th Amendment abolished slavery, that's not incorrect, but it is incomplete. Ashe? So let's look at the 13th Amendment to make the point clear. The 13th Amendment says neither slavery nor involuntary servitude. That means a person didn't choose to serve in that capacity. Neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, I'm going to skip part of it, whereof the party shall be duly convicted, shall exist within the United States. That's the part that most people read. The part that most people miss is this. Neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except, everybody say except. Except as punishment for a crime. What does that mean? That means if you have been duly convicted of a crime, you are now a candidate to be a what? Slave. You guys got it. So in reality then, slavery was not fully abolished. And I'm going to prove it to you as we go a little bit further. See, when we consider the 13th Amendment, there are many opportunities and blessings that are available to us in America. But I also need for you to understand there's a lot of inequity and inequality that we have to contend with. So now let's look at the examples here. You might want to write down this the name CCA, or Corrections Corporation of America, because this is something that you probably want to do some more investigation on. There are some prisons that are now being traded on the New York Stock Exchange. I think whoever just said that, you got it. I'm going to try and break it down so everybody else gets it. There are prisons whose stock is privately traded on the New York Stock Exchange. Now, what does that mean? Let's say I'm a businessman, okay? Matter of fact, let me get a couple of more businessmen and businesswomen to come and join me up here. Come on up here. Okay. Come on up here. Now, we got one more brother. You right here. Okay. Now, these are my businessmen and businesswomen. And now they've been saving and they've been investing for years. They did all the right stuff. They made the honor roll. They went to college. They saved their money. They invested it. They worked. And then they came together as a group. Okay? And now they've got hundreds of thousands and even millions of dollars to invest, right? And so they decide, what do I want to invest in? And then they come across some of these different prisons, okay? And they decide, I want to take some of my money and I want to invest it in something that will make me what? More money. One more time. If you're going to make an investment, you take the money you have and you invest it so that you can make what? More money. Okay? Now, when you buy something called a stock, it comes in shares. And a share might cost $5, might cost $10. Let's say it costs $10. What do you want that share to do? You want it to go up or down? Up. You want it to go up. So let's say I bought it at $10 and it goes up to $20. What did I just make? More money. What do you call that more money? Starts with a P. Profit, right? Okay, so our investors here, they decide they want to invest. And they come across these prisons. Now, if I invest in a prison, how do I make a profit from this? Say that again. Who said that? Stand up. Say it louder. For me to make a profit, somebody has to... You mean every time somebody gets locked up, I get paid?
Yes.
Then what do I want to happen? I want more people to get what? Locked up. Are you guys getting it? So in my mind, I'm singing a little song with my investors here. If we invest in prisons, I'm saying, you act stupid, I get paid. You act stupid, I get paid. Black children. You act stupid, I get paid. You act everybody getting paid off of your ignorance. The person who makes the little orange jumpsuits that the prisoners have to wear is getting paid. The person who makes the little flip-flops getting what? Paid. The person who makes the bars is getting what? Paid. The person who makes the locks is getting what? Paid. The person who makes the keys to the locks is getting what? Paid. The person who makes the video surveillance system is getting what? Paid. The person who makes the plastic trays that they carry their food on is getting what? Paid. There is an entire industry based on your ignorance. Modern day slavery. Ashe? So we know when these brothers and sisters get their money together, they're not going to invest in prisons, Ashe? They're going to invest in their community, right? So let's give them a round of applause as they take their seats. Now, here's what really gets disturbing for me. Because now that we understand that slavery still exists, obviously a conscious person would not want to participate in that, Ashe? But you know what? Something else that I found out is that all of us participate in the system of slavery, modern day slavery, every day, in ways that we never would have imagined. Let's take a look at it. Who's cashing in on free prison slave labor? Read off the names of some companies you recognize.
Starbucks.
All right, well, wait, let's look at this now. Hold on. Wait a minute. Mr. Akua, are you trying to tell me that some of these companies whose products I buy, are you trying to tell me that they use prisoners to make some of their products and they don't pay their prisoners? Wait a minute. That's modern day slavery. And so raise your hand if you have ever used any of their products. Let me just see. Yeah, that's just about all of us in here, right? All right, hands down. The list is even bigger. Take a look. Call out the names that you see. Call them out. So when you see me hold my hand up and I start counting down with my fingers, that means by the time I get to 1, I need silence so that we can continue. Ashe? Ashe. So look, I couldn't believe when I found this out, y'all. It blew me away because just like you, I have purchased products from these companies, right? And what I did not realize is that unfortunately, regrettably, I have helped to participate in a system that is meant to keep my own people in chains and shackles. Ashe? We got to change some of our purchasing behaviors. At least 37 states have legalized, everybody say legalized, the contracting of prison labor by private corporations that mount their operations inside of state prisons. I need for you to understand this so that when you see somebody doing something they shouldn't do, you won't think that that's cool. Ashe? Ashe. Now, let me just, on this one, I don't want anybody to say anything. I just want to see a show of hands. How many of y'all know somebody that's locked up? Don't say anything. Just look around the room. If that person is in your family, put up another hand. Don't say anything. Just look around the room. Don't say anything. Just look around. Get all these hands. All right, hands down. That means you and I, if we're going to follow the path to success, we have to make a different set of choices than the choices that those that you were raising your hands about made. So what is the theme here at Pride Academy? You all tell me, what was it about choices? My choices change the game. My choices change the game. One of my good friends is a clinical psychologist. His name is Dr. Wayne Evans. And he said, change begins with a choice. One more time. Change begins with a choice. And your choices are what? Changing the game. Very important. Dr. Wayne Evans. Change begins with a choice. So we're making the choice to take a different path. And as we make that choice, let's move forward and realize America has both tremendous opportunity. Everybody say opportunity. Opportunity. But at the same time, it also has profound, deep inequality in some places. And so your and my job is to then, our task is, as conscious and committed students, is to take advantage of the opportunity and transform the inequity. One more time. We must take advantage of the opportunity and transform the inequity. Ashe? That's what Maya Angelou and her generation did. They put it all on the line so that we would have a better opportunity for success than they had at that time. So, if you had the opportunity to meet a millionaire, do you think it would be helpful to learn a few things about how a millionaire became a millionaire? Yes. Right. I had the opportunity to meet not one, but several black millionaires. And what they have taught me has completely revolutionized my life. And I want to share with you some of the things that they share with me. Ashe? One of those millionaires, his name is Dr. Joe Dudley. He has a company called Dudley Hair Care Products. And when I met Mr. Dudley several years ago, he taught me this principle that you're one person away from breakthrough, but you don't know who that person is, so you got to act like you got some sense around everybody. Ashe? One more time. You're one person away from breakthrough, but you don't know who that person is. That's why you got to act like you got some sense around everybody. Very important. This is key. And then, once he taught me that, I saw how it played out in my life. You're one person away from breakthrough, but you don't know who that person is. You got to act like you got some sense around everybody. Because a lot of the most influential, most important people, wealthy people, people in positions of authority, a lot of times you might not know that because they don't walk around carrying a sign that that's who they are and that's what they do. Matter of fact, some of the wealthiest people I know, you would never know that they're wealthy because they don't broadcast their wealth. They're not riding down the street so everybody can hear their music. They're not wearing all sorts of gold and all sorts of things like that. They don't have the latest rims because that's not important to them. What's important to them is building wealth and helping their community. Ashe? Some of the most important people, the most wealthiest people that I know, are people who don't broadcast their wealth. You're one person away from breakthrough, but you don't know who that person is. So you got to act like you got some sense around everybody. Let me show you how this played out in my life. There was a very powerful economic strategist. He was a businessman, and his name was Ken Bridges. As a matter of fact, he was up in the area of South Jersey and Philly, and he had a program that I was involved in, where he would sell different materials in the black community, like books and CDs and DVDs, all those sorts of things. And he purchased some of my products to sell around the country. Ashe? So again, his name was Ken Bridges. And I met him in the basement of a church where he was conducting a business meeting. And we started doing business together. And as a result of doing business with him, it gave me a national reputation. Remember, you're one person from Breakthrough, but you don't know who that person is. That's why you got to act like you got some sense around everybody. So then, unfortunately, regrettably, in 2002, Ken Bridges suffered a tragic death. And you all probably don't remember because you were very small at that time. Some of the adults in here may remember it. I did. The DC sniper, adults, do you remember the DC sniper? Okay, so he was one of the victims of the DC sniper. So we were called to North Carolina for his memorial service, okay? And his memorial service was held at Mr. Dudley's place. Do you follow me? You remember Mr. Dudley? So we get there and I meet this man right here. And they asked some of us to come up on stage and speak for a couple of minutes about what Ken's life meant to us. And I did that. And after I finished, this man came up to me and he said, Brother Chica, Ken sent me some of your books when he was alive. And I really liked some of your work. And I said, okay, it's a pleasure to meet you. And I asked him what he did. And we got to talking. He said, I'm interested in bringing you down to Texas to speak to some young people that I work with. I said, okay, well, everybody who says they want to bring me in to speak, they don't necessarily do what's necessary to bring me there, so I'm just listening and, following along. So I said, well, what do you do? And he said, I prepare taxes. So I'm looking at him like, y'all looking at me. I don't see the connection. You want me to speak? I don't speak about taxes. But what I didn't know is that he was a multimillionaire and that he was the owner of the largest black tax preparation company in America, called Tax. They have over 200 offices nationwide. Remember what I told you earlier, the people that are really successful, the people that are really making a difference in the community, a lot of times they're not walking around with a sign broadcasting that, Ashe? And so shortly after that, he started bringing me to Texas to speak to, hundreds and hundreds of youth and adults. And as a result, every single time I went down there, I had to prepare a different presentation. I had to develop new products. And so my business is growing, all as a result of meeting one person. Remember what I told you? You're one person from a breakthrough. But you don't know who that person is. That's why you got to act like you got some around everybody. It's a great story if it ended there, but it doesn't. Then Mr. Mayfield said, Brother Chica, there's some things that we need to say to our people that we can't say on TV. Because the revolution will not be televised. He said, so I want to fly you to Philadelphia, and we're going to produce a DVD series called The 21st Century Underground Railroad. And on this video series, we're going to be sharing critical information that our people need to know that they won't put on television because it's just that revolutionary. So that's exactly what he did. He flew me to Philly, and I was interviewed by Dr. John Ray. There's Mr. Mayfield, there's me, and there's a great African historian by the name of Dr. Edward Robinson. When this video came out, again, it went all over the country to people that I never would have been able to get to. Ashe? And now I'm gaining somewhat of a reputation. Why? Because I'm one person from Breakthrough, but I didn't know who that person was, but I'm so glad I was acting like I had some sense that day. Ashe? Very, very important. It'd be great if it ended there. But then, while I was there, I was introduced to this gentleman right here. Dr. Edward Robinson, this renowned African historian, introduced me to this man right here, Ali Salahuddin of the Dessert Club African Genesis Institute. And Mr. Salahuddin said, Chica, you come highly recommended. And he said, we have 7 chapters of the African Genesis Institute all over the country. We want to bring you to each of those places to speak. And then we would like for you to travel with us on our annual field trip to Egypt. Ashe? Y'all remember where this story started? In the basement of a church, meeting Ken Bridges. But you're one person from Breakthrough, but you don't know who that person is. That's why you got to act like you got some around. And that's why I want to thank all of you who, when I came into this school today, I ran into so many of you who greeted me with love and respect. And I really appreciate that, because that doesn't happen in every school that I go to. I may go to one school and I may be up here setting up and the students are coming in and they're talking to each other all loud, they're cussing and all that. I'm like, man, obviously they don't understand this principle. They don't even know who I am, what I came here to do. I might be here to hand out jobs. I may be here to hand out scholarship opportunities. I may be able to connect them to colleges, to job opportunities. They don't know what I'm here for, but they're acting like a fool, I say. So I'm so thankful that when I came in here, you all greeted me. And you all remember my name, Ashe? Ashe. Give yourselves a round of applause. Because see, that doesn't just stay with me. I have many other people that I want to tell about the wonderful things that are going on here in the hopes that they will come here and share their information with you. What if I could bring one of my millionaire mentors here to speak to you? Would that be of interest to you? Ashe? Okay? And here's the other thing. Remember, birds of a feather flock together. Show me your friends, I'll show you yours. So this story would be great if it ended here, but then Mr. Mayfield came to Atlanta, where I live, and I went to go and see him speak. And after he was speaking, I went up to him and I greeted him, and he said, Chica, do you know a brother named Delzino Wilson Debriano? I said, who? He said, Delzino Wilson Debriano. I said, no, I've never heard of him, never met him. He said, oh man, you need to meet him. That's a brother that you should know. You guys are about the same age. You're both doing great things, but you guys need to hook up. So I said, okay. So he walked me over there and introduced me to him. And what I did not know is that Delzino Wilson Debriano was another brother who has consciousness, but also has capital. Another word for capital is what? Money. Okay? And he and his wife own what? The Black Business Network. So when I met him and his wife, they also distribute my products all over the world. Ashe? And as a result of getting with them, now I'm doing broadcasts online. You may want to write down that website address, blackbusinessnetwork.com. Okay? But the point that I'm making is all of this started way back in early 2000 in the basement of a church with a small group of people who got together. Ashe? You're one person away from a breakthrough, but you don't know who that person is. That's why you got to act like you got some sense around everybody. And now, as a result of that, now I'm doing a Majesty of the Moors on tour, where we're going to Morocco, Spain, and Senegal next summer. Ashe? So it's interesting how this stuff happens over time. As a result of meeting Mr. Mayfield, as a result of meeting Mr. Debriano and the wonderful people I've had an opportunity to meet with, now I travel all over the country, all over the world, doing what I'm doing here, which is what I love. Ashe? But it all started because I met the right people, and I met the right people because I was doing the right things, and I was doing the right things because I was thinking the right thoughts. Ashe? So success is a formula. Every move counts. Ashe? Now how many of y'all know how to play chess in here? Let me see you show of hands. You know that in chess, hands down, you can't win a chess match with just one move. You have to set yourself up to put your opponent in what? In check, and eventually checkmate. So you have to think several steps ahead. Ashe? You got to think what? Several steps ahead. And life is the same way. Write down the name of this book if you're not familiar with it. The Pact. Raise your hand if you're familiar with it. Oh, good. It looks like it may have already been required reading. So you know about Dr. Davis, Hunt, and Jacob, and how they made a pact, an agreement. They didn't like what they were seeing in their surrounding area. They didn't like the crime, the violence, and the drugs in their community. They didn't like the fact that they were growing up in a fatherless home. And they made a decision that they were going to support each other and make it to college and get through college and become doctors. Those are the kinds of people that you want to form a pact with, the people that you see on the path to success right now. Ashe? But I have to ask you this. How many of you are online? Let me see a show of hands. How many of you all are on either Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or YouTube? Or what else? What are some of the other ones? slide. Hold on. I got to change part of the slide because my son told me that I'm officially old. He said, Dad, we're not on Facebook anymore. We're on other things now, okay? So I may have to change that. But here's what I want you to get, because the teaching principle is still the same. Watch this. Did you know that everything that you do online is being tracked and recorded?
Yes.
Everything you do online is being tracked and recorded. I want you to think about that. When there's like a mass crime, a mass shooting, something terrible that happens, and they find out who did it, what's one of the first things that they look at? They look at that person's Facebook profile or Twitter profile, all that kind of stuff. Ashe? Because all of that information is being tracked and recorded. Now we're talking about College Quest, so stay with me, because what you do online can be used in the court of law. You make a threat against somebody online, whether it's through email, a social network, Twitter, Instagram, or any of those things, that can be used in the court of law. Ashe? Not only that, did you know that if you send in your application for admission to Howard University, Hampton University, Norfolk State University, Delaware State University, Rutgers University, did you know that in the admissions office, one of the first things that they're going to do is Google your name? And if I'm the admissions officer and I Google your name, I wonder what will come up. If I see pictures of you doing illegal things, smoking, drinking, partying, showing pictures of you half naked, all those types of things. Y'all know what I'm talking about, right? Question, if I'm the admissions officer and I Google your name and I see things like that on your Instagram, on your Twitter account, or on YouTube, even if you have good grades, do you think I'm likely to accept you to my college or university?
No.
In many cases, and in most cases, probably not. Ashe? My question to you is, what is your online identity? Would your online identity make your ancestors proud? Would your online identity make your parents proud? Did you know that if you're going to apply for a job, let's say you want to apply for a job at Imani Enterprises, that's my company, and you submit your application, and I Google your name, if all sorts of crazy things come up that are not a good reflection of Imani Enterprises, do you think I would hire you? No. But wait a minute, somebody in here is a business person. They're thinking, well, that's all right, because Mr. Akua, I'm going to have my own business, and I'm going to be a businessman, I'm going to be a businesswoman. I don't need nobody to hire me. Fine, but guess what? If you're in business, you need somebody to do business with. Do you think that I'm going to do business with somebody who is putting out all kinds of negative things and who has a negative profile online? Absolutely not. Ashe? And here's the reason why. Because that affects the reputation of me and my business. Very, very important. What's your online identity? And then lastly, what you do with your privates isn't meant to be made public. Ashe? How many of y'all have ever seen some inappropriate material online by people your age? What you do with your privates is not meant to be made public. Ashe? Hands down. I'm going to just leave it at that. All right? So now, I got 5 things. I want you to write these 5 things down real quick. Spouse, degree, child or children, diploma, and career. Real quick. Write those 5 things down. We only got a few minutes. Write them down real quick. Spouse, degree, child, diploma, career. Real quick. Just write them down. I'll give you 10 seconds. 10, 9, spouse, degree, child, diploma, career. 8, 7, 6. Gotta write fast, gotta write fast. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Spouse, degree, child, diploma, career. All right, watch this now. I want you to consider the order that you want to experience each of these things in your life, and I want you to put a number next to each one. So you put a number 1 next to the first thing, 2, 3, all the way up to 5. A spouse, meaning do you want a husband or a wife? Degree, referring to college, child or children, diploma or career. I'm going to give you 60 seconds. Put what you want in the order. Real quick, real quick. 45 seconds, 45 seconds. 30 seconds, 30 seconds.
Come on, Alka dear.
15 seconds.
Won't you stay
10,
still?
9, 8,
You play too much.
7, 6, 5. All eyes up here. 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, here we go. Look at your paper and tell me, what did you put down as the first thing? Just call it out. Let's try it this way. If you put high school diploma as the first thing that you needed to do, raise your hand. All right, wonderful, wonderful. Hands down. If you put college degree was the next thing that you want to do. Okay? And then if you put career next, raise your hand. Wow, wonderful. And then and then what? Watch this. Do you know that I do this exercise with thousands of young people just like you, middle school and high school, and even college, all over the country? Ashe? And do you know that for every single audience that I do this for, the answer is the same. They say, Mr. Akua, I want to get my high school diploma. Then I want to get my college degree. Then I want to establish a career. Then I want to have a spouse. Then I want to start having children. That's what everybody says. But in our community, far too often, what sometimes happens first? I only got a few minutes. A lot of times, child or children comes first. How are you going to have a child before you can even take care of yourself? Okay? But stay with me, because some people do this first, might get a high school diploma, might not, might get a college degree, oftentimes do not. Oftentimes never establish a career. You do know there's a difference between a job and a career. One is short term, the other is So, how many of y'all know people who go from job to job to job but never establish a career? Raise your hand and let me see. You don't say anything, just keep your hands up, look around the room. Hands down. All right, now, here's the key. I'm not talking bad about the people that you and I know. This is about choices, and our choices what? Change again. We're making a choice that we're going to do things in the correct order. Ashe? So I know people who have never established a career, people who are 30, 40, 50, 60 years old, who never established a career, who had dreams of going to college, but who didn't do it because they did this out of order. Ashe? Syntax refers to the order that you do things. So let's read the correct order together. 1, 2, 3. Hold on. Man, I've only only got a couple of minutes left, and I got to get through this quickly. Listen carefully. Remember, early